Okay, welcome to the USFFL 2021 season with the 2020 card set. This is our first broadcast of the season, and we'd like to run through, if we can, division by division, a little bit of a preview leading up to the season in a few weeks' time. That's the ambition anyway. We'll see if we accomplish it. Work schedules, everything you can imagine is gonna come into play when getting these sorts of things in. Of course, getting all the broadcasts in that we can get in. We're going to do as many as we can, but we don't know how many that will be precisely. This is a hobby after all, so we have to, at least most of us do, have to go out there and make a living. So when we're not busy doing that or attending to family things, we'll hopefully be here for a lot of the fall. So let's get right into it. The NFC East is where we'll start. The cards were released 3-4 days ago. So we've been able to spend a little bit of time with them, but we haven't been able to spend any time with the physical cards themselves. As we all know, they're not being sent out till next week. So that makes this a little bit more difficult than we might want it to be, to have to sort of do it all electronically and not have the cards to refer back to. But we'll do what we can. The first squad, we'll go alphabetical order here, of course, is the Dallas Cowboys. Interesting team. Obviously, all of us have sort of thought about it. I'm sure that the fact that Dak Prescott will play a very big role, despite the fact that he was second in pass attempts at 222. First in pass attempts, of course, is Andy Dalton. Now, so with that, we'll go to the first guy, quote unquote, first guy, Andy Dalton, and take a look at his card. It's not great. Obviously, the INTs on 10 are going to make a difference. It's like so many players, like so many QBs in this set. He has a mean, lean, flat pass card. Guessed right, guessed wrong. Obviously, in our league, yak matters so much. It makes the difference of whether you're going to get that first down when it's a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, when you roll that 6 or 7 on anybody's card. Dalton, of course, no different. But nonetheless, he's got the completions there to give you a chance for that yak to pay off. His must run comes up with moderate frequency, and also, like many in the set, he's pretty decent. He'll get you 5 yards through 8, 4 yards through 9, pretty clean. Long pass, not much of a threat. More of a threat to the coach's mind for a pick than anything else. But for those games where Prescott's out, which is going to have to happen due to overuse, of course, injuries could happen too, but overuse is going to come into play no matter what, where Harlan's going to have to pick his spots here for Dalton. And you can, of course, do that strategically. It's not the worst card out there. It will not be a major handicap. Now, when Prescott's in, it's a boost. It's definitely a boost. It's not a huge boost. A lot of us thought, including me, that Prescott would just have an amazing card, just low attempts. Well, his card's not amazing. He still gets those 4 yards through 9, a little bit less in the lower numbers for most run, but a lot of chances for it. Great flat pass card, much lower INTs, not much in the way of completions, guessed right, long pass, but plenty of chances right here in the sweet spot, 5 through 9, guessed right, short pass. And that's really going to be what it would be sort of the bread and butter for Harlan when Prescott plays, at least the difference maker versus that of Dalton, that and the INTs. He does bring an end run column. That's pretty decent. That can come into play in the red zone, especially late in the half. So a pretty good card there. In terms of, always a factor. Just checking out their snap fumbles. Prescott's at 4.6. Dalton's at 1.0. So Dalton with a nice little advantage there. But, Prescott's 4.6 is not a big threat. But, every little difference matters. Now, when are you going to play these guys? Right now, I haven't done the math. I mean, sorry that I don't have hours upon hours upon hours to do all the research that you might want to do. But if you're Harlan, the first thing you might be looking at is your schedule. And you're going to start wondering, what, work is on 9:30 on a Saturday coming into play here. One sec. Okay. Everything seems all right. Oops, wrong team. You start thinking about when you're going to play Prescott, when you're going to play Dalton, to the extent you have the luxury of doing that and injuries don't get in the way, right? So you take a look at that 2020 schedule. Hump there is 7 wins for the Cowboys to get to COI or to head into the playoffs. Obviously, going to be above 500. So the mission for Dallas is at least 500 to get in the postseason. And start taking a look here. Rams, well, it's probably a Prescott game. And I mean, I guess if we did some quick math here, 220 attempts, you get a 50% leeway, so 330. If you're averaging 30 a game, that means you've got 11 games for Prescott. So really, it's the 5 games where you're going to have Dalton play. Well, first one that pops up would be Cincinnati. Next one would be probably your 2 Washington games. So that takes us to 3. And then you got to find the last 2. Depends how good Atlanta's D is. Perhaps they're an opportunity. Probably want to have Prescott against the Rams in week 1. Probably want Prescott against Seahawks in 3. Probably want him against the Browns. Cardinals might be an opportunity for one of those last 2. And then, of course, maybe the Eagles. Pretty weak division. Probably want him for the Giants games, but maybe the Eagles would be a play, especially depending if you knew what situation Bruce would be in starting his QBs, if it's Wentz or not. So that pops up. Pittsburgh, possibly, again, depending on who the QB. So there's plenty of opportunities here for Dalton to give Harlan a good shot at a win when he just has to search for those 5 games. Injuries could derail that, where he doesn't get to have the luxury of choice. But you are charting that out pretty much from day one. If you're Harlan, you've got basically roughly 11 starts, depending how many attempts he puts in. Now, even more than that, you can, if you're leading, of course, you might be able to buy yourself an additional start or 2 by getting Prescott in late in games, if the outcome is determined winning or losing. Get Dalton in there, save some attempts, avoid overuse, and be able to control your destiny even more. So that's the QB story in Dallas, which is a pretty big one for this division. Zeke's card I thought was a little better than I thought it would be watching him last year. He seemed to really struggle. He seemed to just be very much a 3 yards in a cloud of dust sort of guy, watching him last year. But card is a little bit better than that, especially with the passing threat of Prescott. You're going to find yourself guessed wrong here with some frequency, and he can do some damage off tackle. He can do some damage linebucker. End run, not really worth the risk of that -7, -2 coming in. when we heard Glenn sort of talk about that, he seemed to allude to the fact that in the preseason interview with Glenn Guzzo, from Stratomatic, with some of our guys in our league. They had an interview, and Glenn seemed to indicate that probably a little bit more than ever they were incentivizing run choices for the running backs. And you can sort of see it here with Zeke, where you're going to be running linebacker and off tackle almost exclusively and staying away from the ends in most cases. You might try for an end run, goal line, 5 yards out, searching for that +5 on 7 guessed right. That would be an opportunity there for sure when you need those 5 yards. Other than that, it looks like a future of linebacker and off tackle, and it's not a bad future. Really not. 244 carries. I think that's a little bit of a lighter load than the year before, but still plenty of carries there for Zeke. Backing him up is Pollard. Pollard with a yak of B. Elliott's yak is A, which is a real big help, by the way. That boosts these guys' receiving cards. A very unspectacular receiving card for Zeke, but that A comes into play. Pollard running, there's your end run wrong. Really nice. Really haven't looked at this card yet, so first time my eyes are on it. And it looks like going to be a nice option with 101 carries. You sort of bring in that home run threat. We are going to see a lot of Pollard on the last drive of the half when Harlan is looking to get some end run wrong mojo going and strap balling that knowing the defense is going to be guessing pass, and he's going to be running end run with Pollard, and I don't blame him. Not bad at all. Other than that, nothing too spectacular across the card. Meager pass card, but he does bring that B yak. Now the Dallas receivers, all of us have a pretty good impression of them coming into it. How were they carded? Well, CD Lamb, a rookie, pretty impressive stats there. D yak, and a pretty clean card. Flat pass, not very impressive. But short pass can get it done. There's better out in the set, but certainly no issues here. The long pass is where he thrives. Getting 6-7 guessed right is a pretty big deal. So CeeDee Lamb is a pretty strong option. Does he have return abilities? I think he does, doesn't he? Punt? Yeah, punt. Not bad. Not bad. Doesn't give you the long one you want, but the 6, having a 15 or higher in the 6 is sort of the calling card of whether your punt returner is decent or not. And he meets that qualification. 17 catches for Cedric Wilson. Nothing doing here, but a B yak. So you could see Cedric Wilson show up on 3rd and medium because of that yak. And he's got 6 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards here. So he could be a good 3rd and medium option. So there is a role for him to play. I doubt there's much to see here. There is not. So we'll move on. I assume nothing in terms of yak. Yeah. Dalton Schultz, the second tight end coming into this year, but first tight end last year. D yak, 5 run block is helpful. Certainly a lesser pass catching card, but he does bring a little bit of blocking. Notice the tight end blocking has gone down a little bit versus last year, and he holds serve with a 5, so that's pretty nice to see. Michael Gallup, 59 catches. Expected a good card here. Not quite CeeDee Lamb, but good. Better in flat. About the same or so in short, and a little bit worse in long pass, but certainly not a bad card at all for Gallup. Noah Brown. Wait, I didn't check Gallup's yak. We've got a D. Okay. Amari is a B yak. Huge help. So 2 nice wide receiver options with yak, in addition to the halfbacks, enhances the flat pass card of Prescott and of Dalton. And a really nice set of maxed out completions here for Cooper. Nice looking card. Obviously not breaking away in shorter flat, but he'll catch that ball. Long pass, more than serviceable, that's for sure. Like to see that 25 yards. Okay, it may not be the long game, but all of us would be happy to take that. So really nice 3 receiving cards for these receivers, just like we might have expected. Blake Bell, only caught 1. Not doing much on the ground. And then not much passing. So very good wide receiver set. Along the line, the Cowboys line, which was, sort of deemed a disaster by the entire NFL community last year. Well, it's got its high points, but just too many holes. Too many holes. Lots of problems here. Dalton Schultz brings that 5 run blocking. That's helpful, but you got 2 guys who can block. You got to hope for great matchups for that to work out. One of them being your right guard. Is that right? Let's see. Does he go off? Yeah, okay. You can make him a tackle, Zach Martin. That'll be helpful. Right guard typically is not a very helpful position for pass blocking. So you can move him to tackle and maintain the 7 and end up with a left guard and then a tackle with a 7. But then after that, it's difficult for the Cowboys. Over on D, best way to look at D is probably in the game. So let's take a look. So DeMarcus Lawrence is 6. Antoine Woods 4-0-4. You're getting moderate pass rush on the ends. Jalen Smith, not much for Van Der Esch this year. No more 6 run for him. And Darian Thompson is just 0 and out. Nothing on the bench. Sean Lee doesn't bring anything. 0 at the corner. A couple 4s. I assume no help. Yeah, no help from the subs. So pretty thin team. You're heading straight to 0s. At every position for subs. Not much pass rush on the bench. So it looks like a pretty meager situation here on D, and this is true for so many teams. I guess that would be the game saver for the Cowboys. Poor. Short gains galore on the run card. Long pass short. Okay, so you get the reprieve there at 8 and 9. 0, where you don't see the defender X show up. There are worse long pass 0s out there, so not so bad here. Not great, of course, but not so bad. Long game 3 men on 4, that hurts. Completions right here in flat pass 1 man +4 +3 will drive some 3rd and 4th down decisions by the Cowboys' opponents this year. So I think this is a pretty common theme what we're seeing here from the Cowboys, which is really strong offense, not a strong defense. And like so many others, I think where they'll have troubles in the trenches, the pass rush matchups are just not going to favor them, and there could be a huge sack differential for the Cowboys. Let's see what happened in real life there. And get just the team stats here. Sort of like we would see it in Strat. Don't see it. Sacks. Love to see a sacks for and against. And the team created how many sacks? Let's see here. Not seeing it here, but I would assume it's an upside down number. Unless I'm just missing it. sort of a defensive stats here. Team stats. Maybe it's in here someplace. Penalties. Am I just missing it, guys? It should be right in here. Come on. It's not. Oh, come on now. All that advanced stats? I mean, come on. Let's take a look. Sacks. All right. I think this will tell us right there. So 44 sacks against versus 31 that they got. So minus 13 in terms of sacks. It might even be bigger in Strat. Strat did not help. Of course, it always depends on the opponents and what's going on the other side, but that seems to be a pretty difficult spot for the Cowboys. They're going to have to throw flat a lot, avoid that pass rush, which is not very good idea, but you need to do it to avoid those sacks, perhaps because you're missing out on some great receiver cards that can catch the ball long. So when you throw it deep, you'll be taking that chance. So I think that summarizes the Cowboys pretty well. Let's move on to the New York Giants. The Giants had to play two quarterbacks throughout the year due to Jones injuries. He still came up with 448 pass attempts. So at 448, let's see here. Jones could very easily go the whole way and start every game, and you would be able to avoid McCoy. McCoy, who had, that looks like a pretty good backup quarterback card, because what you don't see here is a lot of turnovers, what so many do. So pretty serviceable backup card if you had to use it. You don't want to, of course, because Jones' card is better. I think a lot of us going into last year's draft, if we knew this would be Jones's card, he probably would have gone a few slots higher. Not through the roof, but a few slots higher. He started off really weak, with a very weak beginning to the season last year, but he began to not turn the ball over, and that, as you would expect, resulted in increased production. Like so many, good flat pass, not great, but good. Short pass is supplemented by some must-running opportunities, and he can scramble the ball +4 through 9, and also will get you 10 yards up through 6. So a pretty decent must-run card. This 80 here is interesting. It seems unlikely this is going to come up during the year, that he'll get anything close to 80. Can't imagine many end run choices by Scott from his own 20-yard line. Maybe toward the half, maybe that sort of thing, to risk these kind of losses. But when he knows he's going to be guessed wrong, that might be the opportunity. But otherwise, seems unlikely that'll pick up that 80-yard gain there. But he does have a nice 49-yard gain on his must run, which he probably will pick up a couple times. Going deep, obviously, pretty good chance of pick there on 11. Not many completions to speak of, so he'll have to be feasting off the defensive card. So it's a serviceable card, not one of the strongest in the set, certainly below average, you would say, but a lot of us were kind of expecting a disaster from Daniel Jones for a few years before he had a chance to turn it around. This is not that. This is not a disaster at all. So pretty decent card there. Obviously, we have Saquon Barkley not being carded on the running back side. So what does that leave for halfbacks? Well, Coleman, 147 carries. That leads the team. Nobody else hit 60. So penalties will come on to every other back. And this is where it's a real squeeze play for Scott. With 147 carries, he's going to be limited in his ability to run the ball. He just does not have the carries. So That means there'll be a lot of passing when he might not want to, or else he threatens to lose Gallman for some games. And what does he lose when he loses Gallman? Well, it's the Yak of C, and otherwise a pretty nice card. Not one of the better ones in the set, but she lives off the guest wrong. Can certainly move the chains. Not much on the passing side. About probably what we'd expect out of Gallman's card. Short gains on 10 across the board. Those of us that watched him last year saw him progress. This is certainly a progression for Gallman. Behind him, Freeman and Morris couldn't get those last few carries to get him up to 60, which means you'll be reverting to the mean often. The mean for Freeman looks like it's 3. Doesn't have many opportunities to get above that anyway on his card. Not much guessed right either, so really not a very strong option here. Alfred Morris, 4.3. So that short gain 7s across the board will often be stricken with a reversion to 4 yards via the underused halfback rule. So a bit of a wasted card there for Morris. Morris can typically catch the ball to the backfield with a good yak, but not this time, a D yak. Freeman's yak is C. Dion Lewis. What's he doing? A yak of E. Somebody you'd assume to have a good yak. Doesn't have it last year. Known for his yak. Didn't have it last year. Pretty good out of the backfield catching the ball, but not great. Serves a bit on the special teams. We really didn't look at Dallas' special teams. We should go back and take a look. We will. Fullback, not much to speak of. Evan Ingram can play blocking back. No, he cannot. Okay. So speaking of Evan Ingram, let's go straight to his card. 63 catches. He has double team catches this year. So that kind of was surprising to me. I mean, he was good, but I don't think he was that good. But there you go. Double team catches. On what is otherwise pretty nice tight end card. There are better flat pass columns out there, but this is a good one. There are better short pass columns out there. These are good too, though. Long pass, not much of a threat. Still, though, 2 double team catches out there. Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate can both catch the ball pretty well. 66 and 35. So the 66 for Shepard, only a 9.9 average. He has an E yak. Didn't get a chance to see the yak of Ingram. C. So we've got yak problems so far here. Sterling Shepard's card is really would have wanted more. Really would have wanted more. Sort of has a standard third receiver type flat pass column, plus this -1 thrown in there. Not much doing short, and long's pretty bleak. So undercarded is Sterling Shepard, I would say. Golden Tate, another guy known for yak, doesn't get it this year. A little bit better card in some respects, and that is he has a long pass completion on 7. Otherwise, just fewer completions than Shepard here, but also pretty low yardage. Over on the split end side, we're going to focus on Darius Slate. 15 yards catch. Might see a little bit of pop here. No long gains on the card, but the equivalents pop up here and there on the low end. So certainly not as good. The receivers exist for the Giants, but they're not nearly as good as the Cowboys guys. On the offensive line, 1 star. The rest looks rough. Not huge holes, but holes. 1, 2, am I counting 4? 4 guys with ratings. So there's 1-0-0 on the squad. So left tackle's covered, center's covered. It looks like left guard is a pretty big hole. Going to be a 0-0. Fall of Will Hernandez. On specials, Riley Dixon punts pretty well, but he has a block. Graham Gano as kicker. Really nice card. 2 through 10 out of 32. 2 through 6, 11, and 12 out 38. So that's a nice advantage right there to have Gano on the squad. Let's take a look at the defense for the Cowboys. Sorry, for the Giants. We'll have a punt here. They faced regular defense, base set, 3-4. Okay, I don't like when. Okay, here we go. So we have a 5 at nose. That's nice. 6, pretty nice defensive line. 5-5-6 across the line. Nice there. Any pass rush show up? Yes, Leonard Williams. So that's kind of a game changer. And some moderate additions from Blake Martinez and from Kevin Fackrell. 0-0 there, 0-4 there. Picked up the 6 with James Bradbury. And then the 0 on the other side. Average to good. So we saw this defense show up in the second half of the season. Still short gains everywhere, despite the average to good rating. Some blanks deep, but a 5 long game. 2 through 4, 11, 12. Average to good. There's still plenty of holes here. It's marginally better than the Cowboys, I would say. Not quite as good as I would like to see if I was Scott. So the Giants look like a 7-9-ish team. It's probably, they finished 6-10. Giants teams, let's see. New York Giants, 6-10 is right. $50 sacks against. Wow. 44. So 90 sacks in total. So a lot of sacks are happening. So not much in the way of yak, which is going to limit the ability to convert some third downs. Going to force some more short passing. Going to force more sack situations. Suppose that's what we're gonna see out of the Giants. Especially have to throw flat anyway though, because there's not many ways to turn in terms of running. So passing just that many times is going to be an issue. 517 attempts passing versus, for the team, 399 running. While we're here, we're going to go back and take a look at the Dallas special teams. Of course, worthwhile looking at penalties too. So penalty card for Dallas looks pretty good. The opponent has many more chances than they do. Well, not many. 4 and 5, cancels out the 9 and 10. So, oh yeah, actually, slightly more slightly more will happen to the Cowboys, but just about a 50-50 team. Kickoff return, punt returns look okay. Field goals. Greg Zuerlein looks great, as you'd expect. 2 through 6 all the way out to the 42. 2 through 10. 2 through 10. Really clean card. Looks nice. Punting. Looks nice too. No block. 7 is 47 yards. And he's got a kickoff return from Pollard, who's the only guy. And CeeDee Lamb, as we talked about. Decent, not great. All right, so with that, let's move on to the rest of the division. And that's going to be Philly and Washington. By the way, worth noting that the snap fumble for Jones is good. So that might have been a concern walking into the season. Where's this snap or fumble going to be with the way this guy seemed to turn the ball over? But it was a good number for Jones. Amongst these two. Philly and Washington. So we'll start with Philly first. Oh, yeah. Okay, Philly. All right, so 148 attempts for Hurts, 437 for Wentz. Let's just take a real quick look. I have not seen either of their cards yet. Okay, good running as you'd expect, and lots of it. I mean, decent running, really. I mean, we've seen better mess runs in the division already from some other guys who you'd expect to have lesser ones. Can't complete a flat pass. Yeah, Hurts is not much of a viable option here at all. Definitely the worst card we've seen so far. Let's see. Wentz may outdo him. Wentz outdoes him. Yeah, Wentz outdoes him. Yeah, Wentz is difficult to deal with. So Bruce has his work cut out for him with these QBs. That's for sure. Going to have to induce a lot of guess wrong calling for his passing game. So run until you frustrate the D, and then, try to hit that 10 long gain on Wentz's card. Got to make those guess wrong opportunities pay off. Because the halfbacks are good. Miles Sanders, 164 carries. So you can't run them all day, all the time, but look at that. Beautiful guessed wrong running, but how often will he be guessed wrong with those quarterback cards? Guessed right? Pretty darn good, linebacker. Okay off tackle, you get that +3 on 7. But, I mean, we're talking short yardage, and from that perspective, they're good. Guessed right. Are they actually going to move the change? If you're running 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, no. Just got a feeling those guess wrong opportunities are going to be few and far between. He gives you a yak of B, but I don't know how much flat passing is going to happen in this offense anyway. Boston Scott, also a good card. 80 carries. Guess wrong running is strong. Catches the ball moderately. Low fumbles. What's Sanders' fumbles? Sanders' fumbles are, okay, so he's at a couple percentage points there. So over 2. We should go and just check Zeke real fast. Back to the Cowboys for a second. At 244, he had 6 fumbles. So moderate. Pollard at 101. Fumbled once. That's pretty good. Can't ask for much better than that. And how about Gallman? This is pretty important here. 147, 1 fumble. So that's really important for for Scott and the Giants. So very good halfbacks. Can't imagine many guess wrong opportunities. The fullback spot, you can put Richard Rodgers at blocking back, and he could be a weapon. Nice card. Look at that flat pass right. It's up there among tight ends. That's a great way to convert some third downs. So nice to see him in the blocking back role. That can give Philly some options, because the tight ends are kind of occupied with some superstars here. People at least used to be. Hurts certainly was, and he has a good card again. Only 36 catches. Pretty decent flat pass. Pretty decent long. Short. Coder, his 46 balls caught, result in a pretty good card. And he brings you 6 blocking along the line. Might see some tight sets here from Philly. Use these tight ends, tight sets, and then try to draw a lot of run calls and surprise with the deep ball. Now, with the deep ball, who's going to be catching it? Well, different cast of characters came in to catch balls last year for this team. Greg Ward winds up with 53 catches and just a 7.9 average. Not much in the yak. And for 53 catches, that's not such a great card. Sean Jackson, only 14 catches. So not be able to use him very much. Not quite the Deshaun Jackson card that we're used to, but can still be effective in spots. 31 catches here. Over on the split end side of things. Another 38 catches, another low yak. So probably the last ranked receiver group, as we probably would expect, but certainly very good tight ends and blocking back. Along the line, another week one. Relatively, probably the best one we've seen so far in the division. Kelsey does some work at center. Really helpful to have that 6 there. Get that third down conversion up the gut. Otherwise, not much to write home about. Right guard can get you some run blocking. So, at least you've got 4 ratings for run blocking. I guess that's something for this division anyway. Let's check out the D. Punt away. Let's get these guys into a base set. All right. Look at that. 6-6 on the right side. So excellent strong side defenders with excellent pass rush. 10 and 12. That will cause havoc in this division. Huge advantage there. You even get an 8 out of Hargrave. Yeah, he fell down to a 0, but you get an 8 for your right tackle. Pretty good. And then a 9 is Barnett. So just an awesome pass rush versus the rest of the division here, especially given their offensive lines. So just fantastic matchups there for Philly. And you can see why this is such a competitive division. I mean, to me, this is what makes Stratomatic fun right here. Relatively bad teams across the board, right? And trying to figure out how to win with them is a lot of the fun of this game. Boy, this is just be a really fun division to be in. Team notebook away. Okay, average to poor. Let's see what that means. Well, we're always looking for the short gains first. It doesn't mean everything, but with those ratings along the line, those 2 6s, these are pretty nice cards. I'd rather have this than the Giants' better rated run D. On pass, more of a standard looking card with your defender X is on 8-9. Long gain is down on 3-0 men. So free safety, which is really important for this team. I mean, to be able to blitz more if you're Bruce, to activate that defensive line more often on flat passes, right? On flat passes, you're going to get a good matchup. You're going to get good sack chances. So, the key to that is getting that fifth guy to the line or safety blitzing just to activate that defensive line pass rush more. And this long pass 0 card isn't perfect because you're going to give up some long gains on 8-9 against those corners. But it could be a bit worse. Interesting card. Interesting team. Let's go to the special teams. Okay. So you're getting the number 5 penalty on 7. So that does not help. Philly. Just a lot of penalties. Expect a lot of flags when you play the Eagles, everybody. Penalty card just loaded up. The X pops up, something's going to happen. On his card anyway. Wow. Return game looks pretty solid. Field goals. Not bad at all. Not as good as the others, but not bad. 2 through 9 in the 40s. Not much improvement, though, all the way up to 13. You're still 2 through 9. Even up from the 3, you're 2 through 9. You don't get anything else. 1 to 2. Your extra points 2 through 10. 2 through 5, the classic long range, decent field goal range is there for Elliott. Punting has a block, does Johnston. 49 yards on 7's good. Return game, not much to see. Okay, on to Washington. The Washington quarterback situation. Alex Smith, most of the attempts, 252, up against Haskins, 241. So, these guys are both troubled. Lots of picks here for Smith. We need to check the snap fumbles of Wentz, by the way. Let's do that real fast. Sorry. Over here, we can see Smith has just a min sack fumble. That's good. I guess we'll stay here for a second. Get Haskins. 7.3. Not good. Not awful. Seen worse in my day. Now Wentz. Wentz 4.8. All right. Could have expected worse, everybody. Hurts. 14.3. That hurts. So let's also take a look while we're here at the fumble rating of 3. So also not helpful. We didn't take a look at the Dallas or the Giant QB fumble rating, but also a 3 here for Washington. So these guys will fumble a little bit on sacks. And Lord knows there's going to be a lot of sacks. So back to Alex Smith. Lots of INTs. Kind of an issue. On 9. Ouch. On 5. Ouch, but not so big. This 2 through 4, 12 can pop. Less worried about the 2 through 3. That 4 can show up. So Smith is going to cause some headaches for the football team. Haskins also will make you reach for the Tylenol. Honestly, a bit better. Yeah, Haskins is a bit better. Doesn't run very much, but he doesn't kill you, I guess. Almost kills you, I guess, is the way to put it. Problems. Lots of problems. Probably, I don't know all the cards pretty well, but top of my head, worst quarterbacks in the set right here. Kyle Allen and his 87 attempts. Nice. So compared to the others, at least. So with 87 attempts, you can squeeze him in for 4 or 5 games. Probably want to keep those in your holster until you need them. But Kyle Allen will be on the field and will give the football team a better chance to win. The running game. They certainly looked good last year, this group. This group looked really good. Great in the eye test, not great here. So Gibson, for my eye test, he seemed to do much better than this. Given the relative nature of what those quarterbacks are, this is not a helpful card. Also isn't catching very well. What was his yak? B. Okay, that's good. McKissick also looked good. Yak of A. That's really helpful. But given how he looked on the field, again, I'm not happy with this card. Peyton Barber actually got some carries, 94, but averaged just 2.7. So we're not going to like what we see here. Nope. Sure don't. And he's down to E in terms of yak. Not much passing, not much running. Offensive problems in Washington. Receivers any help? Sure. Logan Thomas, tons of catches. 72. Nice to see that. Not spectacular on the card, though. Nobody else caught anything. Nobody else caught anything. Siak for Thomas. All right. To the flankers. 80 catches for McKissick, as we saw his card. Good pass catcher. Let's look at his pass card one more time here. You're probably not going to have him out here too much, but maybe you will. Moderate pass catcher. For 80 catches, you'd like to see better than that. The other guys hovering right around 30. B-Yak here for Cam Sims. Got some pop in that card. Steven Sims. C-Yak. Less pop. And Isaiah Wright, just 7.3 average. Has a card that looks like that. Now, the best card on the team belongs to Terry McLaurin. 87 catches. About 13-yard average. Nice looking card. Siak. Let's take a look at the trenches. Brandon Scherf gives you 6'5". Moses, 6'4". Center gives you 5. So no extra help there from the tight ends, but still plenty of nice run blocking here. There's a 2-pass block at your left guard. So best offensive line we've seen in the division goes to the football team. Not a bunch of all pros other than Scherf, but really a very, very good line. Defense. Expect to see some strong spots here, and we do. 5, 5, 5, 6, 4, 4, 5 for linebackers. 2 5s on the corners. Strong safety of 4, free safety of 0. Let's take a look at the pass rush here. Chase Young gives you 8. Payne gives you 4. Allen gives you 3, and you get some here. Yeah, Montez Sweat will give you 10. So these guys will cause some problems for the rest of the division. Holcomb gives you a little bit. Bostic gives you a little bit. Here, Lewis gives you a little bit. Any off the bench? Yeah, Ryan Kerrigan gives you 9 off the bench. So this team can cause problems on D with its pass rush. How are they rated? Averaged against the run, good against the pass. Let's go right to that pass card. Let's see those INTs. That's what you want to see. Nice 2 through 7, 12 INT, 1 man long pass. That's nice. Long gain all the way down on 12, 3 men. That's nice. Nice little blank there on 4. Blank on 6 across the board. 6, 3 men, 4 men, incomplete. Like to see that. Like to see no completion on 5 flat pass, 1 man. So that does look like a good pass defensive card to me. And you add in those 2 5s on the corners, that's pretty formidable. Run, pretty clean. With some good linebackers behind. Pretty clean. At least I think they're good linebackers. Let's take a look. 4-4, 4-4, 5-0. Okay. Decent linebackers behind. Special teams. All right. Penalties. Right around 50% either way. Returns are pretty clean. Field goal kicking, we've had a drop off here. So 2 through 8, 11, 12. Well, I mean, it's really not bad at all. So Hopkins can do some damage. It's a little bit of an upgrade. 13 to 22. Extra point, 2 through 10, 12. Goes out to the 37, and it's 2 through 5. Punting, solid. Returning, no help. So Washington's going to have trouble moving the ball. The best defense, but the defense doesn't put points in the scoreboard, and the idea is that you outscore your opponent. Don't know that there's enough defense to overcome the offensive woes. So Washington's going to have some trouble. So I mean, this division was a toss-up last year. We saw it. I mean, it was an awful game that Sunday night, Week 17, that we all saw for the division. Where does it fall out? Tough one. 2 good defenses for Philly and Washington. Not much offense. It's all said and done. I'll take the offense over the defense. The reason I want the offensive teams and not the defensive teams is that you can make up ground on defense based on your play calling. Stratomatic gives you the ability that if you coach your teams well enough on D, you can make up for bad cards. You can make up for bad players, making the right calls on double teams. If you want to assume that's all equal across the board, go ahead. It's not equal. You have the chance to catch up. I don't know. There's not many coaches that I know really, really well in our league. I mean, by far, I've played Vic Lynn more than anybody, having Atlanta all these years versus Carolina. Vic Lynn's not even in the league anymore. He's the only coach I actually know really well. So I haven't played many, so I'm not going to make any sort of subjective view on the coaches here. Just as a general statement, though, I'd rather have the offenses and not the defenses. So you got to give the edge when it's all said and done to Dallas, because they have the best quarterbacks. They have good running backs, where the Giants' offense is hampered by Gallman. So Dallas seems to have the easiest, best pathway to a championship in the NFC East. But as we all saw, I mean, there's huge flaws on that Cowboys team that can derail them. So it should be a fun one. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Hope it was helpful somehow, some way. I would like to see, before we go, just one more thing here. I want to see Dallas's sack fumble rating. 0. Okay, that helps a lot, given how many times they get sacked. So it's a receiver QB fumble rating of 0. Really helpful. Let's see. For the Giants, we didn't take a look at that. 4. Problem. Yeah, so even more of an edge to Dallas. All right, that wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed. Hope we can continue with the NFC South next time, maybe the North. We'll decide. Hopefully Tim can join me for a broadcast as well. Appreciate you coming on, and stay with us all season. Lots of broadcasts ahead. See you soon, everybody.